The best way to explore a city is by connecting with the people who live in it. And if there's only 6 degrees of separation between any of us, then maybe all you need is one point of contact. Now, the way I see it, there are 2 ways you can explore a city like Sydney. You can either use the map and go and visit all the sites, or, my preferred option, you can throw caution to the wind and actually make an effort to go and meet its people. Because without people, any city is really just buildings. Now take the buildings away from Sydney and you're generally left with a beach. So I'm starting my journey at Australia's most famous beach, Bondi. I've just given up smoking, so it's time to find myself a new sport. And this seems perfect. After all, if I learn to surf, I'll get fit and look cool. Besides, it doesn't look that difficult.
And you're going to take nice long strokes, one hand then the other. If there's a bit of a bigger wave coming, we're going to paddle hard, and jump. And down again. Paddle and jump. Paddle and jump.
Hold on, I thought this was going to be easy. It's got more to do with boot camp than the Beach Boys. I'm knackered already.
Well, you're going to drown when you get in the water.
Oh, cheers. Here we go then. 1, 2, 3, in. 1, 2, 3, 4. No wonder she was so cheerful. Here I go then. Come on then. Nearly. Yes. Yes. Well done. That was useless.
You stood up.
So how long seriously would it probably take me to get sort of better than crap?
If you have about 3 lessons, you get the basics.
Right.
And then you've got to practice every day, which is lots of fun anyway.
Right.
And you know,
really have
after
to
a
live
few
here?
months, yeah, you have to
Or
live here.
Hawaii or California.
You've got to take on the lifestyle
Right.
and love it.
You just got to go out there and do it.
Right.
Rain or shine, whatever.
Right.
Just get used to it.
After that near drowning, I was cheered up by my new surf buddy Mike, who turns out to be a local artist.
I can't imagine where you get the inspiration for bright, colourful pictures around here.
Life looks too happy and simple around here, so yeah, my paintings have those nice happy colours, but they mull over some of the more complicated things in life, so yeah.
The dark side.
Yeah, sort of a bit. I mean, life isn't all the beach, is it? So.
No, although you can get that impression, certainly around here in Bondi.
My relationship with surfing has been very much trying to laugh at myself a bit more and not take life so seriously.
In spite of what she says, poor Maya's having trouble with her latest work, so I've kindly offered my considerable artistic talents to help her out.
So this is your studio then?
Yes, this is my studio home. As you can see, there's lots of...
There's paintings everywhere.
It's hanging space everywhere.
Shall I paint some comedy faces on these people here then?
Yes. They have to be happy though, like stupid happy faces.
Right, stupid happy faces.
Ha ha! That's a funny picture.
Is that good? That's kind
Looks like a duck.
Well, you said like he's got a big
Yeah,
smile
but it looks
there.
like a duck's beak.
Yeah, well that's because you gave me a bad brush.
Well, maybe don't press so hard with it. That one's smoking, is he?
No, there's mouth there.
And I love that one.
You do?
Yeah.
I thought you'd like that one.
I can't blame Mai for being threatened by me. First, genius surfer, and now this radical reworking of her art. Is there nothing I can't do?
That's better.
Badly. So after a brief session of criticism and a couple of gentle disagreements about whose painting it was anyway, Mai suggested I might like to get some lunch. Alone.
so I'm here in Chinatown.
Follow me.
Excuse me.
6:05.
This stressed-out bundle of hustle and bustle turns out to be one of Sydney's top caterers. He's got an enormous do on this evening, and he's obviously running late.
I've got to do this function for 500 people. I've got another one for 40 and another one for 50. What's your name, by the way?
My name's Toby.
Toby. Pleased to meet you, Sava.
How'd you do?
Fantastic.
Sava. Finding a Greek Cypriot Australian chef shopping in Chinatown for a Thai salad must be what they mean when they talk about the diversity of modern Australian food.
We want a firm sour mango because it needs to be shredded and used like a salad. What we've got here are the sweet ones.
Right.
And they're very soft, so they'll just go to mush. These are perfect for eating.
I'm getting the impression that your catering is it's a different level really than the sort of cocktail sausages on a stick and cheese and pineapple.
Sydney is a very funny city. You know, we like our food, and we're very particular about our food, and we know good food. So what my job is to bring interesting food to a cocktail scenario. So you need to hold this.
Okay. Where's your usual slave?
Hello? No, I'm coming now. Fine, we've got everything. Ducks, bangos, whatever.
So Sava gets a new whipping boy, and I still haven't had my lunch.
Hey, Andrew, sorry we're late. Toby. This is Andrew.
Toby, hi.
Hi, Andrew.
You're the duck man for the day?
I'll hand you over.
Great.
Give him his gloves and apron.
I thought Sava was bossy enough, but when I saw what Andrew was doing to these poor ducks, I started to get really worried. When you go to one of these things and stuff, do you get into spiritual things, or is it just work?
We end up looking like these ducks by the end of it.
Fatty and naked?
Yeah. That's if it's been a success.
Right.
Hey, Toby. How's it going? Tasty green mango there. Green mango matchstick, Toby. Golden rule, we never eat in the kitchen, obviously. This is the finished product there, Toby. You're holding those quite well. Perhaps you'd like to come along this evening and help us out.
Looks like that free lunch is going to be viciously expensive. Well, I'm off just round the corner to meet Mai again in Surrey Hills, Sydney's Bohemian district. She's taking me and my new hat to meet her art dealer, Ray Hughes. Apparently, he's quite a character and someone I really ought to meet.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, darling.
Good.
You must be Ray. Equal parts Robert Hughes and Barry Humphries, Ray is a big man in the Sydney art world. A 5-minute conversation with him is equal to an art history degree from most universities.
These works are from the exhibition by the Lau brothers, 3 brothers that worked together in Beijing. Over the last 10 or 12 years in Sydney, you can watch the streets change. The composition of who lives in Sydney has changed. There's been a massive Asian migration, Chinese painters, Chinese intellectuals, students, and it would be crazy to run a gallery about Australian art and ignore the fact that Australia is changing in a very real way and bringing in migrants from our neighbourhood.
Another one of Ray's artists, Guo Zhen, was part of that migration when he left China after the Tiananmen Square riots. His grotesque paintings were a parody of the army propaganda used to entice hot-blooded schoolboys into the military. Incidentally, he was one of them.
You thought you're going to the army, you're going to make lots of chicks there.
Right, so you're kind of like becoming a movie star.
Yeah, exactly that. So 3 months later, I want to go home.
It didn't take long for an experienced critic like myself to work out that that blue on those paintings might be connected to the sea. The big blue around the colourful centre, yeah, what's that?
Sort of like in slides, snapshots of life.
Oh, I see.
Kind of like visions that don't really mean anything, but all these meaningful experiences you have in life just flash by and you can't take them too seriously. And somehow we have to try and incorporate all of the differences in the world to bring us to some sort of society where we can all just live in harmony.
Well, that's going to
Yeah,
happen.
I know. Well,
Lots of the really successful shows that open downstairs with everything sold have been well and truly chewed over up here.
Oh, I see.
Over a lot of red wine.
Right. It strikes me that you might be one of the liveliest things in Sydney.
Well, That's very, very, very sort of strange to say.
Well, that was a pretty good afternoon. I think I'm going to like Sydney. My next step is I've got to go in there, the customs house, because I believe Sava's throwing me some sort of party. Well, it's not really my party. Apparently, it's Sydney's, and it's to celebrate the launch of the annual Arts Festival. Unfortunately, though, I've got to work. So how do you cope with the stress?
I'm not.
You're not?
No. Come on, Tobes, quick, smart. You're getting in Andrew's way.
They can use the elevator.
Never having trained as an actor, obviously I wasn't well prepared to work as a waiter.
What's your name?
Toby.
Toby.
Yes.
Besides looking fabulous and being fabulous, I don't have you down here.
I'm Sava's special boy.
You're Sava's special boy.
Yeah.
Sava, what's Toby going to be doing?
Toby, I think, look, we can put Toby on to the platters.
You're going to be working in section 1.
Section 1.
Section 1 doing food.
Okay.
Then I might get you doing some top-ups later if you want.
Okay.
We've got some beef carpaccio with a parmesan butter.
Yeah.
And roasted tomato and basil. Little prawn panini, asparagus and parmesan.
Right.
And after another lengthy lesson in menu science and an extensive amount of extra fastidiousness, I'm off for a bit of servile intercourse with Sydney's A-list. Despite all the fuss, it's really not that difficult to hand food over to rich people. After all, they've been taking it out of the mouths of the poor for centuries. Food's good. Really good. Me. They'll be quick. I made these. Not bad though, right, aren't they? At an arts festival that celebrates creativity, I found an appreciative audience for my radical brand of servile theatre. It's not a bad party, this, really, is it? So it's time to feed the people. All the way from out there. Thank you very much indeed. Ghost cheese, caramelised onions. Oh, wow. Shredded duck, mango salad, and coriander. Delicious. Marinated in lime juice.
Is it vegetarian?
Which one is which?
No, not unless you consider duck to be a vegetable. No, it's not.
He's the chef, so it's better to ask him.
C'est bon? Oui? Good, I made all of these. I mashed the mango myself with my very own hands, yes. But by now I was bored of the high society lifestyle and I was looking for another adventure. This nice French lady offered to take me for a swim with her mates. Dolphins.
So you would like to join us this week? We are
love
going, in fact, this weekend.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, I'll see you at the weekend. Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dolphins? Better than ducks. Canapes! Do you want some canapes? Canapes! Do you want some canapes? After all that whining and dining, I was in need of a good night's rest and a great breakfast. Luckily, Sava had told me about a charming guest house in Kirribilli, an easy crawl from the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Bit of a late night last night. Got in here without meeting anybody, but it's an amazing guest house. Fantastic view of Sydney out there. It's about time for a bit of brekkie.
I can't believe my luck. This B&B has to be one of the most unusual in Sydney. Its mission is simply to provide room and board for those who want to both bed and breakfast naked.
I'll have some cornflakes, please.
Owners Jeff and Caroline certainly provide some of the more exotic views in town.
How does a nudist holiday differ from a closed holiday?
People interact quicker, don't they?
There's more trust.
More trust, and also people just start talking. As
people have this openness, and you try doing exactly the same thing as a normal textile place. I mean, take a hotel. You'll go in there. You might never ever really talk to anybody except the person on the reception counter. But when everybody's nude, it's you talk to whoever.
In a city as warm as Sydney, naturism really seems pretty natural. Until that is, you drop the sausage in the frying pan.
what we set up is a place for people who think like this, that they can come and be with other people who think like it and know that they're all like-minded and you're not going to be offensive.
It's something to offer people that if they like to just sit and chat and be social with people too, I think that's ideal.
Men do tend to be fairly competitive about one particular area of the body, in my experience. And so you say it's not competitive, but surely there must be a bit of, at the very least, comparison.
Some men are bald and some are not, and we just accept them all for themselves.
Right,
Look,
yes.
and if a guy who goes to the beach is bald, well, he's accepted on the beach exactly the same as everyone else.
I was thinking of it, you know.
After the Eiffel for breakfast, the earful afterwards came as no great surprise. The influence of the Opera House is obviously very strong in this town. So I'm heading out to Nelson Bay, about 2 hours north of Sydney, to meet Olivia de Bergerac, the French lady I met last night. And after a big day out and a huge night, not to mention that challenging breakfast, frankly, I'm a mess.
Toby, you made it.
sorry, I'm
Well
so
done.
late.
That's okay. Well done.
Luckily, Olivia is a doctor, with a difference. She takes her patients to commune with a far more carefree species than humans. Incidentally, they don't wear clothes either.
What's the appeal of the dolphin for you?
They have learned some skills which are quite interesting. They know how to live together.
Right.
They know how to play and have fun. They know how to use their brain much more advanced than we know.
More advanced? How come they don't drive cars or write books then?
Maybe they don't need to.
Maybe it's the motion of the ocean or the strange frequencies emanating from the good doctor, but I'm feeling decidedly queasy.
If you think that they live in a world of sound, any sound you produce can intrigue them.
Right, I see. And how are they going to help me with my seasickness?
No,
Like-
the dolphins don't fix anything. They are not
They don't?
doctors, okay? They are not doing it for you.
Right.
What they are is that the sea and the dolphin sound create an environment where humans' brain can slow down
Right.
and feel better. But it's not the dolphin coming and fixing you, okay?
Okay. It's impossible to describe the combination. Just having puked over here and then seeing something so lovely swim right past.
I feel terrible. But Olivia points out that we've interrupted the dolphins in an advanced state of courtship. Perhaps that's why, as soon as we get close, they disappear. Nevertheless, a plunge in the Pacific makes me feel a lot better. And I did get to see a fin in the distance. Then again, it could have been a Swede. Back at base, Olivia has got me all wired up to check the effects of the dolphins on my brain. Apparently, after seeing them, my alpha waves slow down, creating a superb calming effect. And again, perhaps I was knackered. Before I got to Sydney, I thought I was a pretty happy person. But everywhere I go, I meet people trying to cheer me up. If it's not Olivia and her dolphins, it's this lot, Jada, Bondi Band, who are on the move. They're on the up. They're going places.
There's a thing from overseas. I'm gonna get him really drunk so he's on his knees. I'm gonna take him out till he's gonna get paid.
Unfortunately, it seems like I've hitched a ride on the road to nowhere. This band is going right into a rock and roll lay-by.
I thought you guys were going somewhere.
You guys left to stay in the car.
Control to Mobile 9. Control to Mobile 9.
Mobile 9.
Mobile 9 have a breakdown on Anzac Bridge, city bound, adjacent to the monument.
Roger, head right away, thank you.
I could have happily spent hours in that hot, sweaty van listening to wonderful music. Nevertheless, though, it was a relief to return to the real world with this nice, perfectly normal man just doing his job.
G'day, who's in charge here? What seems to be the problem?
She's in charge. She's
All
in
right,
charge.
g'day. I'm field training from the RTA. It looks like you've got mechanical problems and it looks like the brakes are seized up a little bit, so I'll have to try and bring you on the tray. Okay, revs up. Just watch yourself there, bro. Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah,
I'm from England.
The whole lot of yous?
No. There's only the one of me's.
All right.
From England.
Where are the rest of them from?
The U's over there, those U's, they're from Bondi. That's where we're trying to get. Yeah, they're a rock and roll band.
Are they?
Yep.
I do professional wrestling. Maybe one day I might be able to do a gig with them.
I mean, you're a rock and roll wrestler, are you?
Yeah, one of those rock and roll wrestlers. Left hand down. Hold it there, Brian. Okay, Brian, I'm tying her up.
By day, Phil ensures the safety of Sydney's roads. By night, he wrestles with demons. And obviously, he manages to keep both personalities absolutely, completely separate.
You're not a violent man, are you?
No, I hate violence. I love telling people it's fake, you know what I mean? I just absolutely love telling people it's fake. Even though it's not fake, I love telling people it's fake. Hey, we're coming to the Great Coat Hanger, the Harbour Bridge. That's the Sydney Harbour Bridge itself there. And there's the Opera House over there. It's more an entertaining thing. You don't care who wins or loses, as long as you don't make many mistakes in the matches, and it's a good match, and there's good hard hits, and people go, gee, they must have been killing themselves out there, you know what I mean? That's what you go for. Darling Harbour down here, beautiful place.
Lovely.
That's where I get my chicken from.
In spite of my obvious shyness and poor level of fitness, Phil reckons I still got what it takes to be a master of fair dinkum, Aussie biffo, whatever that is.
You get rock hard like me.
It's pretty hard.
Hard and mean. Sorry, hard and mean. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
No, I'm not mean. I went to church yesterday, it's quite good. And there goes the monorail. Doo-doo. Why'd you come for a ride in my Picasso truck? Oh, la, la, la.
You know, I was very confused by this whole idea of beach culture. But Mai told me that even I might understand if I went down to Sculpture by the Sea at Tamarama Beach. Apparently, most of the artworks are sponsored by various organisations, and this one very obviously appears to be sponsored by the Australian Department of Immigration. Disguised, concealed from view like some land-bound fish from the ocean bottom, both naked, in public, and concealed by a skin of sand. Now, realistically, they're not bad sculptures, but that is utter bollocks. Sculpture by the Sea runs for a couple of glorious weeks each summer. Hundreds of sculptures line the spectacular cliff-top walk between Bondi and Tamarama. As the sun goes down, naturally I begin to wonder if Sydney has a dark side. Wow, that's a lockout. So I came out here, I think this is called Hyde Park, late at night, in the middle of Sydney, to see if I can find some decent things to photograph. And it's absolutely magical out here. There's all these like sort of fairy lights in the trees. Well, it is Sydney after all. There's a beautiful fountain over there behind you. Oh, there you go, you can see it. Look at that. There's something a little perverse about taking pictures at night in a city which almost defines itself by sunshine. And perhaps that's why this character made a weird kind of sense to me, with his old-fashioned look and ancient camera. Is it possible maybe to see some things, to see you work and stuff?
Well, if you wish, you know, I can take you probably through the cross. I can introduce you to a few people.
What's the cross?
King's Cross.
Well, that's a sort of infamous neighbourhood in Sydney, isn't it?
It is.
King's Cross is the direct opposite of Bondi. It's Sydney's less than sexy red light district. And like a modern Ouija or Diane Arbus, Peter Darren Moyle has spent the last 12 years photographing its residents, warts and all.
So when you're taking pictures, though, you just basically crawl up and down. Wait.
No, I'm more like an assassin. Right. One shot, one hit, one kill.
Okay.
You know, and that might mean 3 months worth of research.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you're in and you're out and you're gone.
Right.
You've still got your life.
What speed are we going to be shooting at?
Well, tonight I think the speed of light will do.
Okay.
Yeah?
My favourite.
Okay, let's go.
Cheers.
Peter is no fast-moving, superficial fashion photographer. He literally can't afford to shoot rolls and rolls of film. His images are the result of a very close relationship with what can be rather frightening individuals.
Hey? You want to try? Yeah, right. Alex, the guy with the lights, name's Alex.
But in spite of his empathy with the residents of Sydney's shadows, even his camera isn't always welcome here.
What happened?
The natives got restless and the drugs have overtaken. The mix of alcohol and everything's put things to a level where it's starting to get volatile now. Hold it there.
But after 12 hard and dangerous years, Peter is about to surface from the underground. He's just held a successful exhibition and is about to publish a book.
The opening and the closing of the shutter on King's Cross, someone consequently being exposed to that print when they open the book. What's going to happen then? What do you want to happen?
Well,
between those 2 points.
Not what I want to happen, what I know will happen.
Yeah.
What will happen, what will happen when the individual does open the book is they're going to see something and they're going to feel something from another world that maybe they don't know anything about.
When I woke, I felt like I would never really be clean again. After trawling Sydney's mean streets, I felt a desperate need for as much sunlight, fresh air and water as the city could offer.
So I'm reliably informed that this is Bronte Beach, which is in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. And as you can see, it looks exactly like any other drab suburb in any other major city in the world. Now, this is a sea pool, a sea swimming pool right here, with the Pacific Ocean right on the other side over there. And one of the reasons that this exists is that over there, it's absolutely teeming full of sharks, live man-eating sharks. There are tiger sharks, hammerheads, and of course great whites out there. And just a few minutes ago, there were actually 15 surfers out there on boards, and they've now all been eaten.
Olivia has asked me to go sailing in Rushcutters Bay, but the last time I saw her, I was embarrassingly sick, so I'm going to take a quick spin around the harbour in the hope of gaining some courage and some sea legs.
To the Opera House!
Okay, so that was obviously a mistake. Still, a nice gentle sail on one of Sydney's twilight yacht races watching the sunset should be much more relaxing.
Let it go! 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 Go!
Wrong.
Oh my God! Go! Go! Come on! Well, the race has started, and to tell you the truth, I don't think I've got any idea what's going on, whether we're winning, losing, or even heading in the right direction. But it's pretty obvious it's an absolutely fantastic view, even though the weather today in Sydney isn't the nicest. There's plenty of wind, which is good for sailing.
That's okay.
Crikey.
Olivia is obviously very well connected. When she's not singing to dolphins, she's the most glamorous crew member of this gorgeous racing yacht. We made a deal. She's promised not to sing, and I've promised not to be sick.
Go, go, go! Hard. Go, go, go! Hard. Take it, take it, take it. Go, go, go. Keep small. Go, go. Go the other way. Go, go. Just into the boat. Can you... Don't worry, don't worry. That's good. It's about 8 knots over the ground, so you're doing very well. Bring it over. A little bit parallel with them.
In charge of a large and expensive yacht, I finally found my place in Sydney. Until, that is, I noticed the second steering wheel.
We've just finished now.
Well, that was a really nice day today. That was that whole evening.
Yeah, that's the lifestyle in Sydney, you know? It's quite
That's basically
amazing.
what
We
you
all
can expect
finish
if you come
work,
here.
you all finish work and jump on the boats and be straight in nature.
The next morning I popped round to Peter's to see what had developed from the other night's adventures.
Peter, what you doing?
Oh, no, oh, Jesus, Toby.
What?
Oh, man, I've just ruined a piece of paper. Oh, my God, that's cost me $5 a sheet. My Christ.
I'm sorry.
Every once in a while, Peter Darren Moyle emerges from the dark into the sunshine. This morning, he's showing me around what used to be his front garden, when he lived here in his camper van.
I got lost when I first came to Sydney. I ended up in this place here, Mr. Macquarie's chair, right? And, I don't know, it was like a haven. It had open space. It reminded me of the country a bit. So I ended up parking my van here, living here for 10 months.
So this was your home?
Mrs. Macquarie's chair.
What's the story behind it?
This pathway was initially put through early on in the century by convicts. Governor Macquarie's wife, Mrs. Macquarie, would often come down here in their lonely times, I imagine, early settlement and all, and stroll in the sun and watch the construction. Would have been a lovely sight.
Here?
Looks good enough. The composure looks fine.
But it's just there's a big tree in the way of the opera house.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's part of the story, my friend. What you see may not be what you expect, so...
And what I didn't expect was Sydney's biggest pyromaniac to step into the frame.
More than, excuse me.
The giant blocking our light is checking out locations for a big fireworks display. And as an armchair anarchist, if there's one thing I've always wanted to do, it's blow stuff up. Legally. So I want to be his friend.
Well, maybe you should come out and have a look one day.
I'd love to.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome to.
Toby's the name.
Forge is mine.
Cheers, Forge.
Pleasure.
Be in touch.
Bye.
So, until we meet again, I suppose. I've got to go and process negs.
Thanks very much, Peter. You've shown me a side of Sydney I think few have seen. And good luck with the book.
Yep.
And the exhibitions.
Ciao.
See ya.
Have a research.
What am I going to do now?
I didn't have to worry about that for long because Ray Hughes takes me out for a night that makes less and less sense the longer it continues. It all starts reasonably enough inside a nightclub, inside a taxi, which is a little cubist. Then it rapidly descends into surrealism, and then into flat-out abstract expressionism. And of course, it all ends with my own personal Pollock on the pavement.
So I'm on my way, not quite out into the bush, but definitely quite far out of Sydney to see my new friend Fortunato Foti at his family fireworks factory. Yes.
Toby, how are you, mate?
Good, finally made it through.
When I hear the word bush, I wait for the word fire. But that doesn't bother the Fotis, an Italian fireworks dynasty who've provided the bangs and fizzes, whizzes and flashes for Sydney's biggest parties, including the Olympic Games.
Well, you said we could maybe experiment, perhaps, like make some sort of a firework.
Well, we've got the lab over
big
there,
bangs.
so how about we go in there,
Check.
do a bit of experimentation, make a few things and do a bit of testing.
Blow some shit up.
Yeah, you got your matches?
Yes, and lighters.
Good.
And a magnifying glass for the sun.
Let's go.
No doubt to confuse their competitors, the Fotis have hidden their research and design laboratories amongst these garden sheds.
Right, it's all secret in here.
Walk in.
Thank you. All right, so do we need some atomised egg?
Not that one there.
Okay.
Just wait,
All right,
just
sorry.
wait. I'll tell you which one. Potassium perchlorate first. Some red gum. Strontium carbonate.
Strontium carbonate coming up there. There you go, Forge.
This is for the colour.
So what's this firework going to do?
It'll be like a volcano effect, and we call it a mine. So it shoots from the ground up, like a V.
Okay, fantastic. It's not going to explode on me or anything, this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. What's the craziest experiment you've done in here, Forge?
Well, we've actually made a firework with the ashes of a dead person, and then got that firework and shot it up into the air and exploded it. I'd say that was pretty crazy.
And from this point on, I make a mental note never to lick my fingers at the Foti firework factory.
The way we make components in the Foti household is we use pasta.
Obviously.
Well, being Italian, that's what we do. So we'll add the pasta, a little bit of water,
And garlic and pesto.
we'll get the powder,
This all seems like it's got more to do with cooking than it does with chemistry.
and we just add it to the pasta. So as that rolls around, the powder coats the pasta.
Oh, I see.
We'll have to whack them in the oven
Right.
for 10 to 12 hours.
Okay.
Wait for them to dry, and then we can make the firework.
Right, so the Italian culinary thing continues, doesn't it? Because it's sort of like a pizza oven we're going to put them into.
Another Foti family firework maker, Tino Foti, gets out the paper wrappers and patiently shows me how to make my mine.
Placing that inside, making sure it's all the way to the bottom. Basically, we grab some of our stars, grab our disc here, grab our PVA glue, and there you have it.
Thank you very much, Tino. Cheers.
Good luck, and I hope you like it when you see it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. You see, it's mine.
It's that link between pasta, gunpowder, and Italians that makes me a little bit nervous about the small family dinner Forge has invited me to this evening.
My son Salvatore.
Hello, Salvatore.
My daughters Helena and Angelina. Niece Georgia and Samuel, my nephew. That's my grandmother. My uncle Vince.
Toby, how are you, mate?
My cousin Matt. Sister-in-law Carmel.
Hello.
That's my mother Carmel there. My brother Tino. Hello.
Hello, Tino.
My auntie Liz. My sister-in-law Melanie.
Hello, Melanie. Yeah, now I know everybody's names, remember them all. It's going to be very simple.
That's it.
Yeah.
Since I've been to Sydney, I've met Italian, Greek, Cypriot, French and Vietnamese people. But the main thing they've all got in common is that they're also Australian.
It's huge. So when did the first Foti light the first firework? Or make the first firework?
Well, we trace the history back to 1793.
Crikey. And how many generations is that?
7 generations.
Forge's grandfather first came to Australia as an Italian prisoner of war, but he liked it so much he came back to Sydney as a migrant in the 1950s.
He was self-taught, he was a perfectionist, and we had him with us till the age of 88.
Looking at the fireworks side of it, we can actually say that we are one of only 25 companies in the world to ever done fireworks for an Olympic Games.
I think it was like the pinnacle of their career, and it was wonderful that my father-in-law was still alive, for him to see that.
Over a couple of bottles of wine, or so I think, I somehow managed to persuade the Fotis that I'm reliable enough to help out at their next big bash, a firework display they're planning to launch from a barge in the middle of Sydney Harbour. I awoke a different man. Sydney's lack of pretension had finally got to me, and I decided to really open myself up and go for a full English at breakfast.
Yes. You converted me!
After that humiliating experience, I headed to Dulwich Hill, a diverse neighbourhood in Sydney's inner west, where I've come to call on my friend Phil, the tow truck driver, who's promised me a good workout for my body and my soul. And this is the Holy Trinity Church, Jim. I've come here to fake it with Big Phil Picasso. He swears that Aussie Biffo, his unique brand of pro wrestling, is completely painless and above all, dignified.
Give us another one, mate. Take them up. Oh, man. Beautiful. Hey, Toby. Hell. Want to go up and try some of that?
I'm all right to take some photos.
Come in, Toby. You said you like professional wrestling. Go and have a go. And then I might teach you some Aussie Biffo after that.
Which bit of that is painful?
Which bit of that? The Aussie Biffo. Make American stuff.
We've only got a limited amount of time.
Oh, no, we've got plenty of time. You do the same as what I do to you. I put one arm around your neck. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay.
I might grab this arm.
Right.
And knock it out the way. And then pull you in and put you in a headlock.
Right.
And squeeze your head.
Now I'm meant to be looking like I'm not enjoying this, right?
Yeah, you're like in pain. Okay, grab hold of my arm and stick it behind my back.
Your arm? This one?
This one. Oh, no, not so hard. You don't let me...
I got you there. I got you now.
Get your legs up and bring them down together. Yeah, so that's it. I will tuck your neck so you don't break your neck. Tuck your neck like this. And when you sort of land...
Tuck your neck so you don't break your neck.
Yeah, that's right. Tuck your neck so you don't break your neck.
There's a small possibility that my neck...
Yeah, and don't forget, when you're taking that bump, to look straight in there. Don't turn your head to the side, otherwise you might pop your shoulder.
So, neck breaking, pop shoulder, check. Anything else that's going to break? Spine?
Knees? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's it. Oh! So you gave me a lot of time that time to see my legs.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you want to try
that again? Sometimes it's hard to tell whether Phil is fighting me or whether Phil is fighting Phil.
That's how you do it, bro. Legs up in the air. Oh! No, but that is good. Did you hurt? Fighting in a ring and wrestling is different than actually going out and building people. Like, we're not violent people.
Right.
We're only violent in the ring. I was violent when I was young, but I'm not violent anymore.
Okay, so the ring contains the violence.
The ring contains the violence, and you're both a gentleman agreement. This is where we train the young boys, and thanks to Father Dave, the Anglican fighting priest, does a bit of fighting. He fought Anthony Mundine a while ago for a charity match. I was actually
hold on. So one of those people fighting over there's a priest?
Yeah, that's Father Dave.
Oh, the one with the T-shirt that says Christianity with punch.
Yeah, Christianity with punch, that's right. The one.
I think what we're doing is we're giving our kids a creative channel for their aggressive energy, which is so often comes out in destructive forms of, abusive male violence.
But on an even more basic level, it often seems like Father Dave is offering himself up as a human punching bag to help his flock exercise their anger.
Once in a while, though, I mean, you must get hit so much that it really hurts. Look, and then there's that just simple male aggression that comes up that's got nothing to do with Christianity.
This is the test. This is always the test. This is when Jesus says, someone strikes you on the cheek, give him the other one.
Well, you see, this is where there's the grey area here in the terms of the turning the other cheek, isn't it?
Not at all. I think the turning the other cheek whole thing is about taking control of yourself. So you can swear at me, curse at me, take a shot at me. I'm going to determine, in my own integrity and before God, how I'm going to react to that. Maybe the most loving thing I can do is give you a bit of a hiding and teach you a lesson.
Right.
But probably not. Maybe the best I could do is give you the other cheek. You know what I mean?
I have faith in the probably.
The point is, I'm going to decide at that point. I'm not going to let you decide for me with your aggression to dictate my response. Right. If you can learn to control your response in an environment where someone's trying to take your head off, then you can do it in the street where someone's trying to offer you a hit or get you involved in something you don't want to be involved in.
Forge, I'm here.
I've come down to the docks to help Forge assemble some dangerous pyrotechnics on this rather ropey-looking barge before it's all towed out into the harbour and becomes a floating launch pad. Or a hellish boat of flame if anything goes wrong.
Just higgledy-piggledy, just chuck them in, right?
No, don't just chuck them in. You've got to gently place them in, making sure they hit the bottom. If they don't hit the bottom, they're only going to come out of the water to go on the barge and blow up.
Right.
And we don't want that.
That could be quite dangerous, actually. What's the most important thing that Forge has taught you?
The most important thing, safety comes first.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If safety comes first, then why are you going to be hiding behind that bit of cardboard in the corner? That's what I want to know.
So, Toby, how about we load that mine that you made the other day at the factory?
Yes, I'd love to, Forge.
And it's got your name on it.
Oh, right, so it does. In fact, I said that there was a joke. That's mine. Mine.
Your mine, that's right.
That's mine.
Forge tells me we're going for an overall pink theme, which is appropriate since all the bangs and whistles are for a dance party to celebrate Sydney's gay games.
Well, that's it.
That's it?
And yours is ready to go.
And as we're towed out into the harbour, the shirts are off and the dance party is already underway. Since it's my last night in Sydney, and maybe my last night on Earth, I've decided to see the whole spectacle as a celebration of my wonderful time here.
We're almost there. Give us a call, 0417 885 226. Now what we have to do is we have to test that all the fireworks that are plugged in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to automatic, because that's what we're doing it from.
Right. Oh, and this is a list of what happens at every every beat and so on.
All we do is we arm it.
That sounds quite dangerous. Particularly this bit where it says pull the dead man switch.
You like that?
Is that the switch that if you're out there you're holding you're a dead man? Or...
No, that's the one that you've got to hold. Someone from there will give us the signal when they're going to press play. So it's now ready for firing.
Check.
And after positioning myself as far away from the dead man switch as I could possibly get, it was time. 3, 2, 1, here we go. And above me, the fruit of my labour. It's that one. No, it's that one. No, maybe it's that one. That's that. Yeah, that's mine. No, that one.
That was amazing! To tell you the truth, after a week in Sydney, I've still got no idea where anything is. I mean, I can tell roughly where the harbour is. But my mental map of this city is, I think, much nicer, because it's all about people.
Why'd you go for a ride in my Picasso truck? Oh, la, la, la.
It's very disruptive, isn't it?
I mean, life isn't all the beach, is it?
Not that one. Just wait. I'll tell you which one.
We're all on the same planet.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's it. Oh!
That's fantastic. Oh, yeah, Peter, yeah, it's Toby, the English guy. Remember we were making that programme? Yeah, I was wondering maybe you'd like to meet up for a drink tonight. Yeah, well, what about tomorrow? Perhaps we could... Oh, I see. Hello, Mai, it's Toby. No, I'll call back later. Hello, can I speak to Phil Picasso, please? Big Phil Picasso? If you could just tell him I called again.
Find the gap.